What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9. Nobody move. That's a good number right there. Episode 9 of Pod Podular. We're super excited. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. It is Thursday, December 26th, 2024. And we got an awesome show for you here today. A little agenda rundown on the show here. We're going to be just recapping again the New Orleans happenings, goings on during the New Year's run coming up here this weekend. Then we've got an awesome interview here with Rohan Solo. And then we're going to play a couple clips. We're going to talk about STS9 Christmas songs and finish things up with a little bit of giving hot takes. So, Scotty, how was your
Yeah.
Christmas, my man?
My Christmas was wonderful. I've got a brand new Scramble Campbell print right here from my lovely aunt and uncle. That was my STS9 related gift that they got me this year. So pumped on that.
Good stuff. That's awesome. Well, we'll start things out. New Orleans coming up here. A lot of excitement. 3 nights at the Joy Theater. Only 3 night run aside from camp elsewhere this year. Super pumped for it. But let's talk about what's going on again. Again, we've got the STS9 Lounge meetup. That's on Sunday, December 30th at 3 p.m. Where's that Monday, Scotty? Get my
That's
days mixed up
Monday.
here.
That's Monday.
No,
It's Monday.
nobody knows what day of week it is, anyways, between Christmas and New Year's. Monday,
Exactly.
December 30th. Then on New Year's Eve, we've got the Zach Velmer extended DJ set. I'm super pumped for this one at Cafe Istanbul. That's 2372 St. Claude Avenue. By the way, the lounge meetup is at Pat O'Brien's. Come get you some hurricanes. But the Zach Velmer show, we've got openers for that one. Wake and Blake, Head Bob. We've got visuals by B1R, Pawn, Captain Sasquatch, and we got lasers in the building by John Luke and McFarlane. Doors are at 1:30, so this is going to be a good way to kick off your 2025. But let's get to the real business, Scotty. Here, what
Yes,
else is going
sir.
on?
So the other event we've got going on is actually the event that our guest today is going to be throwing. Guys, our guest today is from Auburn, Alabama. He is a classically taught pianist and a self-taught on production programs like Fruity Loops and Ableton. Moved to Atlanta in 2010, started higher learning around 2012, and signed to STS9's record label 1320. Aside from higher learning, he has three other projects of his own. He's got Space Cadet. He's got Hive Mind, who threw a show last week at Aisle 5, and he has Rohan Solo. This man has sat in with Lotus. He has worked with Cujo Goody. He has worked with Young Buck. He has opened up for STS9 in Nashville, and he will be throwing at late night at Santos Bar on the 30th in New Orleans. If you guys don't know who we're talking about, we are talking about Mr. Rohan Prakash.
Rohan, welcome, bud.
What's up? What's up? What an introduction, y'all. What's good, man? How y'all doing?
We're
Doing
doing
great,
great,
man.
man.
Super
Pumped to
excited to
have
have
you.
you.
Yeah, happy to be here. The podcasts have been amazing. I've listened to some clips here and there, but I'll be honest, I've listened to the whole first one, and y'all are really killing it, man. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
This is your first podcast appearance, correct?
This is my first podcast appearance.
All
That is
right.
right. Yeah, and
We'll
it
go
couldn't
easy
be
on you.
more. Yeah, no, yeah. Hey, go as hard as you want, man. But but no, man. I mean, STS9 has changed my life, and it couldn't be a more fitting first occasion for a podcast. So, and
Absolutely.
with the homies, of course.
Yes, sir. Well, for those that don't know you, and don't know the point of the artist series of this podcast, the goal is to not just point attention to STS9, but point attention to this wonderful community that we're a part of. It's a community very rich with artists, whether visual or like yourself, musicians. And so, not only do we obviously want to nerd out a little bit on some STS9 with you, but we want to get to know who you are as a person and as a musician. So get it started, man. Auburn, Alabama. I learned about that as I was doing some research about you. Is that where you grew up?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I was born and raised in Auburn, Alabama, and that's where I grew up. and
Okay.
I did get my start musically over there. Yes, as you said, I just started learning piano when I was 13.
Okay.
So yeah, that was good catch on that.
Yeah.
So and then yes, I was self-taught on Fruity Loops and uh software is like Logic for production, and
Sure.
I just got obsessed with Southern hip hop in general when I was
Okay.
maybe like 13.
Sure.
And fun fact, I even like used to rap and whatnot. I don't really want to
Okay.
talk about that, but that's anyways. So yeah, I dabbled in a lot of music from a very young age, and yeah, I went to school in Auburn. I went to high school in Auburn, and I went to a community college over there for a little bit, but I did end up moving to Atlanta in 2012, right? And I joined Higher Learning as a drummer. To rewind a little bit,
Yeah. Because I do have a couple more questions. So,
sure.
as far as as far as I know you're training piano, but was that your first instrument that you ever played?
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say. Well,
Okay.
actually, I would say it was piano and then the tabla,
Okay.
Indian hand percussion, which
Right.
I've got behind me right here. I don't know.
Okay. So were your parents musical, or was that something that you kind of naturally found on your own?
Yeah, so my mom she came from a musical background
Okay.
and she played the vina and sang. So yeah, I would say maybe my roots come from that a little bit, but
Okay.
most of what I know and what I do today and everything is just self-taught. But I do have a lot of different like mentors, so to say, which
Okay.
I can dive into as well.
Sure.
But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but before we get there, I mean, as far as music goes, when you first picked it up, was it something that was a spark right away, kind of love at first sight for you? Kind of how did that all go?
bro, absolutely. As soon as I heard just like hip hop in general, just saying like seeing like Outcast on fucking MTV, right?
Right.
So back in the days, just seeing music videos like that, seeing hearing beats like Bombs Over Baghdad, like the fast paced drum and bass beats and trap
Sure.
beats, really inspired me, and what that's what inspired me to start producing. But just music in general. My dad would play the Beatles and the Grateful Dead even
Okay.
at home a lot, but also a lot of Indian classical music too. And I mean, I come from deep Indian roots, and
Sure.
I kind of went back and forth between Auburn and India growing up. So, yeah, so
That's quite a back and forth.
It's
it
a big
really is.
commute, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What part of India?
Yeah. So it's Bangalore, it's which is South India, and it's a huge fucking city. And so yeah, just millions of people, but amazing vibe now. I was just there last year, and man, I had the honor of playing a couple shows while I was out there too, which was amazing. And yeah, but yeah, all my like extended family is in India, and my parents are like kind of like the first generation immigrants to
Okay.
move to
Okay.
Alabama, and yeah,
So we have them to thank for bringing Rohan to the States and getting your art here.
you,
That's pretty cool.
you could say that absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, Scotty, should we get into a little STS9 here?
Yes. So in this same interview, that I was reading about you a few days ago when I was putting this together, it said the interview quoted you as saying that you first saw a Sound Tribe 2010 Verizon Wireless. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The article made it seem like that was your first concert ever. Is that correct?
That is absolutely true, man. Yeah. Here's my start with STS9. I don't know how you found that. That's
Dude,
mind blowing.
listen. 2 for 2, also, because we had Brandon Pearl on here for our first artist series, and his first show was an STS9, like first show ever was
Yeah.
STS9 too. I didn't know you guys existed in the wild. I've never met anybody, I didn't think, that just started music at STS9. This is mind blowing to me. All right,
Love
sorry,
that, but
I don't
yeah,
mean to
yeah.
step on you.
No, man, no, for sure, for sure. And yeah, man, I mean, like STS9 literally changed my life, and I would say 2008 is when I first, excuse me, when I first heard Artifact for the first
Okay.
time, and 2008 is when I heard the album. I remember I was living in India for about a year. Around that time, I had just I dropped out of high school, got my GED and whatnot, and I was just in a weird, patch in life. But I went to India with my brother and lived there, and it was really cool. And I discovered Artifact, and I would listen to that album constantly from top to bottom, from musical story downwards, almost every single day. And that album just blew my mind. And this is before I even got to see like live videos of them or even see what the live aspect was and the community aspect was. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because Artifact doesn't really reflect that, right? That's very much a like in
Mhm.
studio type of thing.
In
So
studio
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
like it's an album that I mean, like, yes, they have played it live from front to back a couple of times, of course, which I had the honor of opening one of those shows. I'll get into that a little later.
I
But
didn't know you did. I didn't know you opened Knoxville.
yes, I played percussion with Suns Bobby.
Oh,
Jeffrey let
cool.
me use his percussion, which is
Okay.
that's fire.
super badass. Not
Cool.
to like
Cool.
brag or
Sorry.
anything crazy, but
No, you're this is
yeah.
this is why you're here, is to
Yeah.
brag. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, no. So Artifact absolutely changed my life, and then I started seeing live videos of them and just really really deep diving into their music, listening to just the tabernacle shows, watching live as time changes. And yeah, and that really was like holy shit, like this like
Yeah.
thing like the whole melding of electronic production and live drums and live percussion and Indian elements, like all the whole like spectrum of what they did just blew my fucking mind. And yeah, man. So anyways, in 2008 and 9, I listened to him constantly, but I never made it
Can,
to a show. But
can I ask, when you were in India listening to them, how did that translate to the people around you? Like, were you just creating a swarm of Indian Sound Tribe fans? Did that translate there, and were they like, "Holy shit, what is this?" Because are just largely vocalist, largely languageless music. I'd be curious how that would translate in a completely different culture like India.
yeah, absolutely. So when I was out there, I didn't have like many friends, so to say. I had mostly just my cousins around me, which I have a
Okay.
really large family, like a shit ton of cousins. And so I was playing it constantly to my grandma, grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
cousins, and they were like, they were like, yeah, this is cool, and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they my parents even love the band and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yes, I even when I was there last year, I played them out a lot on Bluetooth speakers and or just studio monitors and whatnot. So yeah, definitely I would say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack you, but we were
Yeah.
so you lead 2 years of being a fan before you ever see them, and then you make essentially a pilgrimage to Atlanta to see them. Who do you go with? What is that night like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2010, I had maybe just started college. I was 18, right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
I was um, with a couple of friends of mine, and it was one of my friends, Ethan. He passed away recently. Rest in peace. But yeah, went with him, and then I also went with my other best friend, Andy Roberts, who is my best friend to this day today. He's fucking awesome. He lives in Atlanta. He's my tour manager for Rohan Solo and Space Cadet and everything. Anyways, I was 18 at that time, and they were, my memory serves me correctly. The night before, they were doing a show at the Tabernacle, and it was
Okay.
like one act set and just one normal set. And I wanted to make both nights because I wanted to see what it was all about. But the next night they open. I mean, I'm sorry. Big Gigantic, the Disco Biscuits, and Big Boy open,
Big boy.
and so that was just a huge like I wanted to see all of those acts because I was
Mm-hmm.
really started to get into electronic music at this time frame. That's when I was discovering Big G, the disco biscuits, Pretty Lights,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So when I saw that the show announced, yeah. Anyways, long story short, I went to the show with a crew of homies, and I was instantly blown away. I was like, from the moment, from the moment the biscuits hit the stage, I was like, wow. But then from the moment that STS9 hit the stage and they opened with Unquestionable Supremacy of Nature, I was like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit, this is absolutely amazing. And
Yeah.
Yes.
like, and I had just like an epiphany that this is like, this is what I want to do in my life. I want music is what is the direction I'm gonna go in. And it was just kind of a reinforcement. And let's just say I had a really, really amazing, life-changing moment that night. And that night literally, made me want to made me want to follow the band. And just the community surrounding it, man. I've met just so many amazing people, like you guys, and so many other friends. But yeah, that night was so inspiring. And
Well,
yeah.
can we take you back to that night for a little bit here for
Yeah, sure.
our first clip? So we're
Yeah.
gonna start here, and it's got a little bit in common with the same kind of clip we had with our first artist too. But let's take a
yeah.
listen. Woo! My God.
First concert ever.
Yeah,
Look-
man.
Look at
Wow.
this picture too. This is a
I-
great picture for the album artwork.
Dude. Yeah, right, big boy.
The happiest Hunter Brown's ever been in his life.
Right. Absolutely, man. I mean, how epic. I mean, I don't know, use that word lightly. But damn, yeah. What an amazing sit-in too. I feel like, there was a period of time in 2013 when the Russ Liquid test toured with the horns and everything. But I feel like no one does it better than Dom, to be honest, in the saxophone world. And and the lettuce sit-ins too.
He seems to know the catalog really well, so that really helps him out a lot with these sit-ins. And
Absolutely.
I think with Brandon's first clip too, it was what was
Empires.
it? Empires with Dom too. Dom sat in on my first show as well. They played an Unquestionable on my first show too. But
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I'm just sitting here thinking about this. Dom opened my first show and didn't fucking sit in.
oh my
So
gosh,
Wow.
wow, did you
thanks,
get the nod?
Dom.
Thanks,
Cool,
Tom.
dude.
Big
But
G opened a lot of shows. Yeah. Sorry to
yes,
continue.
big. No, you're good. I want to know, like, for you as a musician, what impresses you the most about STS9?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say what impressed me the most was the drumming. Being a drummer, I would say drumming. This Zach and Jeffrey synchronized together. The way this I don't know how to describe it. The synchronicity and the harmony between both of them, just how they intertwine with Jeffrey's vibes on the congas, Zach on his 10-inch side snares and the DNB fills. Like the DNB does it for me. Like that's like the songs like the OG Kabuki squares and cubes,
Mm-hmm.
Move My Peeps, like all that. That's like the drum and bass fills was what really inspired me. So I'd say them, but it's a band like them. It's just hard to say because there's such group rhythm. They're all I don't like Hunter's licks, Jeffrey, Zach, Alana, and Phipps all intertwined together, produce that sound that literally no one else could make. And I mean that's how I feel. So
Right, one of a
Absolutely.
kind for sure.
yeah,
So you get your soul lit on fire at Verizon Wireless in 2010. You decide essentially, I'm doing this. I'm going to this is going to be my life. Higher Learning starts 2012.
yeah. Actually, so higher learning started in 2011.
Okay.
And I was not a member of the band then. I had started my own band in 2010 called The Juice, with
Sick.
with my buddy Bambi, Alex Bambi Etheridge. He also plays in Space Cadet, whatever. But yeah, me and him started a band together, and we had some pretty cool opportunities. We got to open for Lotus in 2011 at like the Alabama Music Box, which
Okay.
not sure if that venue exists or not. And we played a few local shows here and there. But anyways, I sat in on drums with Higher Learning at a house party in Auburn when they came through one of my friends, Kyle Hawley, uh, Modern Measure. I'm not sure if y'all know
Yeah.
Oh
Kyle.
yeah,
Yeah.
No,
But
I know Modern Measure. I don't know Kyle.
okay, cool. Well, yeah, he's one of the super homies from Auburn who I kind of grew up with. But anyways, he told me that Higher Learning eventually was like needing a new drummer. Their original drummer was like moving to the West Coast, and just like, yo, this is kind of a good opportunity. Just come to Atlanta, try it out, see how it goes. And I was like, I mean, yeah. And so I was going back and forth driving from Auburn to Atlanta, like still kind of going to school
Sure.
and going to Atlanta to play with them. So I did kind of like audition for them, and it was like instant, And yeah, have a mad respect for those boys. But yeah, so I did join the band in 2012 in their early days. So they started late 2011, and their
Okay.
OG drummer was just with them for like a few months or whatever.
So this is when some of my questions kind of intertwine with some of those
Sure, yeah.
mentors I believe you're talking about. So you join Higher Learning. Are they signed to 1320 at that point?
Yeah, so
They
actually,
are. Okay.
yeah. Well, oh, no, no. I'm sorry, not at that point.
Okay.
It took a minute. It took a minute before we got signed to 1320. We in 2012 when I joined the band, we had the opportunity to play some shows with Up Until Now which is Murph's
Yeah.
brother,
Mhm.
and Murph played a lot of those shows with him. When the band wasn't touring,
Mhm.
Murph would come and hop up on the bass and play the whole show with Up Until Now, and Kyle was on drums. And so Higher Learning did a whole tour with Up Until Now,
Okay.
featuring David Murphy. And so that's how I kind of met Murph. and whatnot. And yeah, yeah, Murph is a man, and just super cool to us and whatnot. But those shows were epic, and I was like, it felt really cool. Like, holy shit! Like, I'm starting to get my foot in the door a little bit. I'm playing with a member of
Sure.
my favorite band, and we were opening up for people like Big G, and played like some like Pretty Lights after parties. We got to open up for like Tycho in Birmingham, and we played. I think Scotty, if I'm not mistaken, are you from Mississippi or?
I went to Ole Miss. I was trying to pinpoint the first time we met, Rohan. The first time I remembered having a conversation with you was in Colorado, but we may have crossed paths in Mississippi.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, for sure. Because I know we've all had amazing hangs in Colorado together. But yeah. So I played the Lyric Theater in Mississippi a couple of times.
That's my first Sound Tribe show.
Yeah, and I saw them there, and I think it was 2013, but I remember their 2017 show over there very vividly. But anyways, so I got to open for Papadozio over there twice, and also Zugma, which. Man,
oh
I wish they were still together. But
I do
what the
too.
fuck is Zugma, right?
Yeah, I do too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I miss them very, very much.
They were great.
Yeah.
Getting into just each of the projects, right? So we've been talking about higher learning. We have Space Cadet. We've got Hive Mind. We've got Rohan Solo. So just want you to talk a little bit about each of those projects and your inspiration behind each of those projects. So we'll start with Space Cadet there. Talk us through that first.
Yeah, sure. So Space Cadet came because higher learning, I will say, was great, but I wanted to play more music with my best friend, which was Alex Etheridge, Bambi, right? And so we were like, dude, we should still keep playing music together. So Space Cadet started as more of a side project, and so the roots of that came from me just getting back with my Auburn homies and being like, yo, let's keep playing music while I'm still touring in higher learning. And if one thing led to another, we got on some really big gigs. I think we played a couple of Tribe after parties. We played like a sold out Al 5. Murph even sat in with us. And anyways, yeah, and the project just became a lot bigger in a sense. Like both of these projects in a way are still like pretty roots in a band. I've never got to a level. I still feel like I'm climbing a ladder in a way.
Sure.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? But sorry if I'm going all over the place a little bit here.
No, you're all good. I mean, it's just what we're ultimately interested in is kind of the creative thought process, and how, I guess from afar it might seem like you're stretched very thin, but my guess would be that these projects ultimately give you energy to create in other ways. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
I would say that's absolutely accurate. Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, yeah, but Space Cadet, I was so many amazing moments. Higher learning, so many amazing moments, and really, yeah, I'm so great when I'm playing music with other people is just such a special feeling, and I've learned and like grown from playing with Niles and Ryan and from Higher Learning and Adam, and also with Bambi and Thomas and Space Cadet, and then I've we've all I guess as humans just grown so much together over the years musically and just as humans in general. But yeah, man, so I'm really grateful for both of those projects. Now I will say like both Higher Learning and Space Cadet aren't doing much now. I started Rohan Solo when COVID hit, so that's kind of been my main focus.
Sure. Yeah. And so Hive Mind is obviously the other band, and we're recording this before you do your actual gig. It's airing afterwards.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, I mean, David Dollar's another very good friend of mine, and that project to me kind of speaks the truest to your Sound Tribe influence, and I would imagine kind of the the creative branches that start growing from your inspiration for Sound Tribe. So talk us through that, whatever you want to say about Hive Mind.
Absolutely, man. So Hive Mind, yeah. The Aisle 5 is always such a special venue for us, and we've played there multiple times. And the Atlanta home team always shows up strong. Big ups to the Atlanta home team, man. But Hive Mind started as a project with me and the Dan Cox, who used to be in a band called EP3, and then Niles from Higher Learning was originally on keyboards, and then Dave McSweeney from Greenhouse Lounge on bass. And then David Dollar is one of my all time best friends, and he joined the band post COVID. Niles is crushing it, but he's been busy doing his DJ stuff, which is fucking taking off, and he's killing it on that end, and I would say more so producer stuff, but yeah, so Hive Mind is super inspiring. It's super. We're very inspired by the Biscuits and STS9 combined. I would say both of those are our main influences. Our McSweeney and Dan are huge Biscuits heads, but they have also seen Tribe since like 2002, and Dave McSweeney, our bass player, he saw so many shows. He went to all the shows in like 2004, 5, 6, 7. You name it, he was probably at that show. And then me and Dollar are, although we are very inspired by the Disco Biscuits too, we take most influence from STS9. So we try to just intertwine those influences together, and also a lot of other. I like Lotus. I would say is also another huge influence to me. So my drumming influences like Greenfield, Zach, and Allen, and I try to intertwine like those influences, bring that to the table, and we each bring our own unique perspective to the table when we jam. And Hive Mind, we were able to go out and do like kind of like modular jams, right? Like we have like a virus setup where David Dollar triggers arpeggiators and all sorts of different stuff, and we can like really like increase tempos and like jam for 15-20 minutes sometimes. Like we did a show.
Speaking of that,
yeah, we got something there. So we're gonna let everything you just talked about be on display here for a clip, actually from the Aisle 5 show the night before the New Year's run started at the Eastern last year. I was there. That was awesome. And speaking of 20-ish minute jams, we want to give people a little preview of that here. So
hell yeah, let's go.
Fuck yeah, Rohan.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Phil.
Oh, I might have had a harder time clipping that song than I have on any Sound Tribe song on this podcast so far.
Man,
Just
yeah,
that's a throwback right there. In a good man. Thanks, y'all. No, I appreciate that.
where do you stop?
I'm hearing everything that you said. I'm hearing biscuits. I'm hearing mostly biscuits in that clip.
Yeah. So biscuits, mostly for sure. I mean, with their own flavor. So that song specific, I love that one so much. That was the second time we had ever played it. We wrote that song because we have songs, of course, but we definitely like extend the fuck out of it and jam.
Sure.
Most of them, right? But that song we wrote right before we opened for Lotus at the Caverns. So we opened up for Lotus at the Caverns that year, and that song was around maybe 10 minutes when we opened for them. But yeah, I think we took it to like 18 minutes.
Yeah, it's damn near 19 minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean, so good, dude. First of all, Hive Mind is super special. I really love what you guys do every time I've seen you.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
However, they are not the reason we are here today. The reason that we are here today is because you are one of the late nights for STS9 as Rohan Solo.
Yes, sir.
Rohan Solo just dropped a new album this year, 75 Years.
Yes.
Your second album, when did you start recording 75 Years?
Yeah, so I started it in I would say 2022. I started some of the ideas. That's when some of the elements started coming in. I'm really intentional about like what samples I use and what elements I use within my songs. So the early formations of each song on that album started in about 2022, and I would play them out live. And when I started this project initially, there's always going to be those shows where you're playing to like maybe 20 people, and you can tell if the people don't fucking like the song or not. And so yeah, so I started in about 2022, but really started writing the album super, like putting really big focus into that album in 2023. And a lot happened over 2023, just in general. And it was a pretty formative year for me musically. And it was definitely one of the biggest years for Rohan Solo. But I felt that 2023 was kind of a little bit of a standstill as far as releasing music goes. But I put a lot of my efforts into writing
the album.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went through. I've listened to a lot of your music this week.
Sweet.
And I do usually, but I mean I've been like in a deep dive for this episode. I picked up a Trillville sample, a little Scrappy sample, Alan Watts on the title track, and something that I mentioned in the intro, a Young Buck and a Cujo Goody feature.
Yes.
How do you come about that? What is it? Take us through that.
So I'll start with Cujo Goody. I'll start with Young Buck. Young Buck was the easiest. It was literally, I mean, I'll be straight up. It was literally just, the world, the way the world works now. You can message someone on Instagram, and he was like, yeah, but it did take a second. So starting with the Young Buck, that was young. Like I said, I was super influenced through hip hop in general.
Beg for Mercy is one of the best albums ever made.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, dude, what a great lyricist and what a great rapper and just a G in general. But anyways, so I messaged him on Instagram and I was like, "Yo, look, I have a track. I have a few different tracks that you can choose from, but I really would love to feature you." And I never would have expected him to message me back. Like I have maybe just 1,000 or so followers back then or something.
Sure.
And lo and behold, I got a call like while I'm at the gym one day, and his manager is like, "Yo, Buck likes your music, and I'm gonna loop him in on the line on a 3-way call," and got to talk to Young Buck, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do this, but let's do it the right way. Just send me the track, and there was a good bit of back and forth in a good way, and a few
Cool.
edits here and there. And so while I personally never met Young Buck in person, he was super awesome to work with, and a huge honor for sure. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing. How about Cujo, man? Goody
Cujo,
Mob.
yeah. So Cujo from the Goody Mob, man. So yeah, dude. One of my homies, he who throws a lot of events. His name is Mike Monterelli, but he was in Atlanta one day, and he was like, I'm going to Stank Anya Studios. So Outcast the studio, of
Mhm.
course, and
Okay, yeah.
legendary. And
Casual.
there's an event going on there. He's like, I think you should come. And so I did. I had just flown back in from playing Connection Festival, I think, in St. Louis, and I was super like tired and hungover or whatever, and just tired from traveling. And I
Yeah.
played a great show the night before, but I I went to Stank Anya, and it was just more of like a rap battle sort of thing, and there's like a lot of food trucks and vibes, but Cujo happened to be there, and I approached him, and he was literally the coolest dude ever, and so super down to earth. Told him about my music, and I'm just we just hit it off like instantly. We vibed through conversation and whatnot, and obviously Goody Mob is just such a huge inspiration to me. So I've fanboyed out a little for sure.
Sure, sure.
But
Good on you for walking up and asking for what you wanted. I mean, that's amazing. I to be a musician and to see someone from Goody Mob, a lot of people would clam up in that situation.
yeah, no, and I mean I would say I even clammed up a little bit too, but I urge boost of energy just kind of hit me, and yeah, approached him, and my buddy Mike introduced me to him actually, and anyways, he was super down to earth, super cool, and I showed him my music through online just a couple of days later, and we stayed in touch, and we got in the studio a couple times, and we knocked it out. He fucking crushed it. We're actually doing some more things together.
So you guys were in the studio together. This
Yeah,
was a much more personal relationship.
yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. And he's the absolute man, and just So I consider him more of like a friend now. He actually I headlined off 5 in I believe May of this year as Rohan Solo, and
Hmm.
him and a couple of his friends like sat in with me. It was super dope. We got to play the
Very
track
cool.
Ashes to Ashes live, and it was fucking popping, man. It was great.
Yeah, speaking of popping, man, let's talk about Nashville,
Yeah.
right? The Sky Deck this year.
Yes.
Um, I can speak to how much fun me and Scotty had watching you throw down on that balcony. I mean, Scotty, I was worried about your
R-
back and your body, honestly.
Rohan, not since Matty O'Neill and Daily Bread in Asheville have I had more fun with an opener.
Oh
Um,
man, thank you.
and honestly, like, you're my friend, so I had way more fun watching you do it. We had the blessing of being on the balcony, and you were with us for the soundtrack portion of
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
did,
Oh, that was
we
so
got
much
to
fun.
be
Yeah.
right above you,
Mhm.
watching you do your whole thing, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Yeah, I don't know if either of us have any real questions about that, other than just, what did that
Sure,
feel
sure.
like to get to, I mean, it's so cool. Rohan Solo, like, that's your name under Sound Tribe's name. I think we
Dude.
talked about this during the band that night, but just
Yeah.
talk me through the emotions of that night, and, just what it felt like to kind of stand up there and do that.
Absolutely, my man. One of the best nights of my life, one of the most pivotal moments of my life, hands down. I mean, being able to open that night with my name on the billing, or I mean, not to like get all like crazy in my head or whatever. That that night was mind blowing and a life changing moment for me to play to a sold out audience with so many homies at a what a cool venue too, Sky Deck, just like overlooking kind of Nashville, and like I don't know, seeing kind of like the skyline of Nashville like from the stage was just nuts. There's so okay. So leading up to that, so many emotions, man. Like so many nervous emotions. That was the most nervous I have ever been for a show, hands down. And I usually don't get too nervous before I play. Sometimes I do. It is what it is. But that show specifically, well, I just remember like the load in was super crazy for that show. We had to, you know, I don't even know how Tribe got all their
Sure.
equipment up into that rooftop style venue. Well, actually, Hunter told me that they took multiple elevator trips or whatever, but it was nuts. And so I remember me and my tour manager Andy, who I went to my first Tribe show with, and or my photographer, basically my crew, got up to the elevator and I just remember I remember Tribe was sound checking Haze and When the Dust Settles reprise, and I was like just setting up my stuff to the side. I was talking to their tour manager and stuff. And they're just telling me the general role of show, and I just remember a huge like just wave of nervousness just like hitting me. I was like, holy fuck, this is like really happening.
Yeah,
And
Hazel do that to people. That's that
yeah,
kind of
bro.
track.
Yeah, man. What a great track. But right. But yeah. So I was just like, I was watching them sound check it, and I saw like Zach kind of look at me and give me like a head nod or whatever, and while I was just setting up my equipment to the side, and I don't know, there's so many emotions were just hitting me all in all. I was just reflecting through like my whole life and how I got here, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be a huge moment for me. I had been preparing for that set specifically, writing a lot of different new music, and my album had just came out around that time frame too. So yeah, I'd prepped so hard for that show, and it was when I just remember uh what really my nervous emotions kind of like swept away. I think their drum tech TK, he super super chill dude. He
Yeah,
came up
he's
to
man.
yeah, he's fucking awesome. But he came up to me and was like, um, dude, your sound check was fucking awesome. Just said a bunch of kind words, and yeah, and I was just like, it was 10 minutes before we hit the stage, and there was two sections in the green room where the band was practicing, so I was like actually listening to like kind of what they were, but that section was locked out, so you can't, I couldn't really be there. But I was with their crew just chilling, and when I hit the stage, I remember looking up in the balcony and seeing y'all like getting down, and then let's go, and then yeah, and then so many homies in the crowd, and it was surreal. So yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to the band for having me on that show, and yeah, it was absolutely life changing for Rohan Solo, and yeah, just me as a musician, and to the community that came out and supported me early. I mean, that it was yeah, it was surreal and life changing. I don't really know what else to say about that, but that's yeah. And then the whole
Yeah.
show, what a fucking amazing set list too. Like, damn, man. Yeah,
Great,
Yeah,
great
that was a good one.
weekend. Definitely some best of the years that weekend.
yeah, dude, for real. Yeah,
We've alluded to it a couple of times. You talked about your mentors at the beginning. I'd be remiss if I didn't hit on this. You
sure.
you talked about kind of all the things that led up to that moment in Nashville and Rohan Solo, and kind of your whole journey. Nate and I both know that Chuck Morris was a big influence on you and kind of a big mentor.
Yes,
Chuck
sir.
unfortunately passed away last March, 2023. To your point about just a lot of stuff happening for you for 2023, just let's talk about Chuck for a few minutes. Tell us
Absolutely,
about his
man. Let me
importance and
grab a piece of memorabilia that's on my wall
sure.
right now. Well, I will in just a second, but we'll rewind to uh to Chuck. He was definitely my biggest mentor in electronic music in a way, in electronic like drumming. Chuck was also a drummer too. He had a project called Nunchuck that Space Cadet played with a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we got to open for Lotus and a bunch of times. I feel like I've opened for Lotus probably more than any other band. So big ups Lotus, thank you. But Chuck was just what a my best friends and one of the biggest mentors in my life, man. And he had such an amazing energy to him that everyone who he crossed paths with was had nothing but positive things to say about him. And he was just such a goofy, cool ass dude. And yeah, like he was like one of those friends. Like me and him were fucking roommates at holidays in 2017. Because his wife couldn't make it, he I was the first one I guess he thought of and invited me to come to holidays with them. And like I sat in with Lotus on percussion, yeah, that holidays. And anyways, but back to Chuck. Really, like, man, he was just like fucking such an amazing person, man. And my heart breaks for his family, of course, but I want to keep embracing his legacy. And I want, I wanted to whatever I do, I want to have, I want to have, how do I say it? I guess like his influence on me reflect on my music in every way. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. So let me grab when I played with Lotus. We When I played with Lotus on 420 last year, it was a couple weeks after Resonate. I remember getting a call at Resonate. I did a drum circle with Jeffrey to commemorate Chuck, which was absolutely amazing. Resonate 2023 was super beautiful, and shout out Jeffrey for joining me for that. But I remember getting a call from Jesse from Lotus saying that they're going to throw a show at the Fillmore to honor Chuck's life, and they wanted me to sit in on some songs. And yeah, and so I played on Chuck's rig, and it was that show itself, I would say, is probably the most emotional like show of my life.
Sure.
But here, let me grab that real quick and show y'all.
And we do love Lotus as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
Favorite Lotus track, Scotty?
Probably Umbilical Moonrise.
Love that. We can go with Sun Rain.
As you can see, yeah, this is the crowd from it, and here is like a close up of the passes for the show, and then it's some Chuck stickers, but the set list from each show as well. And yeah, so I mean, diving into Lotus a little bit. I mean, I sat in on Spiritualize, Shimmer and Out, basically a whole set's worth of music throughout 2 nights. And yeah,
you got a lot of really positive reviews, man. I remember a lot of people saying a lot of really nice things about what you did those 2 nights.
It was super heartwarming, and it was such a blessing to be able to do that. So I am very, very grateful for the positive reviews and all the kind words, man. And I appreciate everyone, man. Never will take that for granted. Absolutely.
No, I appreciate you sharing that with us. So,
but rest in peace, Chuck.
Yeah, rest in peace, obviously. So, you talked a little bit about Chuck's mentorship, and you've kind of alluded to Jeffrey's mentorship as well.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
a little bit about your relationship with Jeffrey.
Yeah. So Jeffrey and I met in 2013 through the kind of final years of Murph, because once again I'd known Murph through up until now and touring with them, and I decided to go on basically the whole like stump tour when
2013.
2013, yeah. So not the whole tour, but I hit a huge chunk of shows from that. So anyways, actually, before that they played a few shows in Florida, and I met them. I met them then. I was more so closest with Murph, right? But I really got more close with like Hunter and Jeffrey around the 2013 time frame. So I would say it's kind of it's hard to pinpoint which show exactly, but Jeffrey is just the most down to earth, coolest dude ever, from the get go. And he, even through like I was just a crazy like 21-year-old kid who was like, fuck, I'm in this crazy like music scene, and I don't know, but I take a lot of inspiration from the notes that Jeffrey plays in each songs, like the tablas he plays in Glowgly, and like all of that. So once again, when I met him, I definitely fanboyed out a little, and but we through the years have become good, pretty good friends, and he's the absolute man, and he has given me so much like wisdom and advice through my shows, how to navigate the touring lifestyle, and just so much more, man. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So, what's next for Rohan Solo? You've got an album that's 8 9 months old now. Are we working on another project? Or are we going on tour? What's popping?
Yeah, man. So I am definitely going on kind of a tour next year. The Weekend Warrior stuff is where it's at for me. I feel like, doing 3 shows a weekend, then being back home in the studio has just put me in the most like healthiest like mindset to where I can really, really focus on each show and not just get burnt out from touring, which I feel that Tribe is kind of doing that format now
Yeah,
too, right? So, but so yeah, I have a lot of dates filling up next year that I can't quite announce yet, but stay in touch with my socials or whatever. You'll see it all pop up. A lot of cool shit in the works. A lot of cool festivals. A lot of cool things of that nature. A lot of amazing live music. I believe. I mean, so yeah. Well, when you do see this podcast, I'll be playing in Atlanta on January 10th for a solo show at Wish Lounge. All the it's a benefit show, so all the proceeds from that are going to go to like Hurricane Helene victims. So
very cool.
ATL peeps, come out to that if you are there. Or if you're in the Atlanta area. And then musically, album wise, yeah, I am working on a lot of new music. I won't say if I'm working like kind of on an album because I'm not sure if I want to release it in an album format yet or as singles and an EP. But I'm focusing on a lot more like chiller stuff too. Like a lot of Rohan Solo stuff is so like different than what I've done with Hive Mind, Hive
Sure.
Learning, Space Cadet, my old bands and whatnot. It's so much different, and it's a lot more bass heavier. But and while I still do appreciate like the 140 and you know funky grizz kind of bassy sounding stuff and Tipper and all that. I'm really enjoying a lot of the like lo-fi funkier stuff right now, and I'm gonna try to sprinkle. I'm gonna try to do more different like intentional like sets, like more down tempo sets
Cool.
too. I did a really cool set at Lotus Festival Summer Dance last year where it was strictly down tempo music, and we called it
Nice.
Rohan Solo, which is their manager wanted to call it. I was like branded differently because they wanted it
Love
down
it.
tempo. So yeah, anyways, so a lot more stuff kind of in that range, but also a lot of banger shows too.
Okay. So we obviously talked about some of the artists you've worked with. This is a question that we sent to you before because I wanted you to think about it. Give me a quick top 5 bucket list artists that you'd like to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we can all come to an agreement that STS9 would be the top
Of
of the
course.
list collectively as an
Sure.
artist. And I don't want to I just want to shout out to them. Being signed to 1320 for a period of time was such a dream and an honor. Actually, I did work with Jeffrey. So he was on a collaboration with Space Cadet.
Okay.
This track called Amua he played percussion on, and it's on Spotify. So if you want to hear it, feel free to check it out. It's Space
Cool.
Cadet featuring Jeffrey Lerner. So I would love to, but collaborate with them as a whole. The next number 2 would be this Indian instrumentalist called Kirsch Kali.
Okay, yeah.
He's amazing, and he's just I'm sure y'all have listened to the For My Peeps. I think it was either
Yes.
2002 or 2004.
I was gonna say he pops up in 0204 era
Yeah,
soundtrack,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So he played in Double Beat Science, which was a group with him and Bill Laswell, who I know Alana is super inspired by, and also Zakir Hussain, rest in peace. So
Peace.
yeah, he was Double Beat Science was another formative band of electronic music for me, and in my formative years. So Yeah, so Kursh Kali, and I would say Zakir Hussain too, man. I mean, but rest in peace. He literally just passed away 2 days ago,
Yeah.
and so in we'll meet in our dreams and
Hmm.
in the next life or whatever. But he would have been literally, so those are the two main like Indian percussionists, because Indian like percussion and tabla in general is just such a huge part of me, and I embody it so much, and it takes so much discipline to like learn an instrument like that. And so yeah, so those would be huge inspirations. Next up would be Big Boy from Outkast. I would say,
Okay.
man, fucking that, yeah, bring it back to 2010. What a full circle moment that would be.
Sure.
And I almost got the chance to be in the same studio, like the studio with them at the same time, but things have never worked out. And that's a really that's
It'll happen.
yeah. Well, but who knows? Number 5. Let's see, man. Hmm. I don't know. I would say it's a tide between like Tycho or Tipper. Some yeah,
Of course.
something in that range. I feel
That's
like
like the two sides of your yin yang of music types. That makes perfect sense.
yes, yeah, y'all
meet,
got it.
meet that tempo somewhere in the middle, right?
Mhm.
But no, awesome list, and I'm sure multiple of those will happen. So thanks for sharing that. But we're gonna get into some quick hits here,
Yeah,
some more kind of one-word answers. These might be a little bit tougher for you, but do your best. First one's a
no worries.
softball. Most recent STS9 show.
Sorry to repeat the question. My headphones just got out for a second. Sorry.
Most recent STS9 show.
Yeah, man. Chicago was so fucking dope, dude. Yeah, damn. Yeah. I remember raging with y'all briefly, but that was amazing. I would say honestly, that was one of the most top. That was one of the top shows of the year so far for me.
Hmm.
So yeah. Both the shows, man. I mean, the Shaky Ground is probably my new favorite song, to be honest, dude. Yeah,
Scott
That's
is,
song of the year for me.
yeah.
yeah, Scott is a big fan.
Let's go.
Favorite STS9 show.
Favorite STS9 show would be 420 2011. That was my second show,
Athens.
and it was okay. Well, okay, this is gonna have to be a two-part answer.
That's
So
fine.
because I'm gonna do a Murph thing and an Alana show, because because I currently think the band is playing the best they've ever played.
Yep.
So favorite, you're saying just favorite STS9 show as a whole?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could. So that's your Murph one. What's your Lana one?
So yeah, so the 420 2011, beautiful show, and then with Alana, Red Rocks this year, hands down.
This year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that
I
answer.
firmly kind of believe this year has shaped up to be one of the best years for the bands. For the band. Yeah.
I
I
think
think
we
we'd
could.
both firmly
Yeah.
agree there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might change sometimes, but favorite STS9 song right now, at least.
Right now, well, so consistently, it's always been "Move My Peeps," just the way it goes from jazzy to DNB, and tied with "We'll Meet in Our Dreams." Like those are my two like favorite old school ish songs. Um, and then I've also learned to I didn't really like When the Dust Settles or Scheme when it first came out. It kind of became a little monotonous when I was seeing them in 2013 and in the Murph era. I got really tired of it, but I've grown to like really appreciate those songs a lot more over the years. And yeah.
Okay.
So right now, I mean, yeah, man, move my
Peeps.
peeps, we'll meet in our dream, and squares and cubes too. So
Yeah.
shit, that's so many
Sorry.
songs right
Move
there.
my
But
peeps. Yeah.
yeah, but
We
move my
we
peeps. Yeah,
we've all got the one we keep going back to.
exactly.
So aside from 2024, favorite year of the band.
Yeah, aside from 2024, I would say I think 2017 was a huge formative year for the band. I mean, those Artifact shows were something else. Like playing Artifact from front to back in the way they did it, and at Red Rocks and in Knoxville too, and all the shows leading up to it and surrounding it. I felt that was such a great year for the band. So yeah.
Okay. Great answer.
Yeah.
All right, sit in for any STS9 song. What song is it?
So a lot of people would say "Come Why," just because
It's the most obvious answer for
it's
you.
the most
Well,
obvious.
no, Scotty would say Kamui, but
Kamui, yeah. What do y'all think it is? Is it Kamui or Kawhi?
It's
Kamui.
Kamui.
Okay,
It's
that's what I
Kamui.
thought.
Alana confirmed it
Alana
during the
confirmed.
whole Vibble thing. She
The
confirmed it.
Vibble-
Actually.
My
Dude, I
bad.
saw y'all's comment on that. I fucking cracked up, dude. That's just hilarious. Anyways, Kamui could be an amazing one just because of where it can go percussive wise. But I think the most meaningful one would be like in Summer Angels, probably just with a like percussion breakdown, like
Yeah.
where we could go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. So we know STS9 has done these remix albums, right? Where we've got perspectives and everything like that. Say you're on a project like that, pick any STS9 song to remix. You've got a Rohan Solo remix of it. What song would that be?
Yeah, man. Oh man. I don't know. Either wave spell, just like those sounds, like in the beginning, like like how I feel like I could do some like turn that into some crazy.
Such a
like,
good answer.
Yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, I feel like I could really like fuck with those sounds and like turn it into some sound designy kind of shit. So yeah, I would have to say wave spell if I could choose one.
Fuck yeah. That's such a
remix.
good answer. Those last two songs are not songs that I would have ever expected you to say. And I'm like, of course, Wave Spell, of course in Summer Angels. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, man.
So all right, so got a few more quick ones. We've never done this before. I think we're gonna do it with every guest because it's fun. STS9, this or that. I'm gonna give you two answers. You pick one real quick. Indoor STS9 or outdoor STS9?
I would say indoors, but just because of the way acoustics are treated in a room, such as the tabby.
Yeah.
Like like being in dude. I've seen them in a room indoors and in New York. I was it was a venue connected to a fucking Target, and it was like a 200 cap room. It was on the 2019 tour in Albany. So look it up. It's definitely I forgot what the name of the venue, but it's kind of like a shithole venue, but it still was like just the vibe of being in a crazy like a small club or something like that. Can't beat it, but damn, that's a hard one too, man, because Red Rocks and that venue in Arizona, the Pepsi.
Got to pick one. You went indoor.
All right.
You went indoor.
Indoor.
All right.
Indoor.
Speaking of the tabby, tabby or the Eastern?
Bro, Eastern, hands down.
All right. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tabby. I mean,
it's a better room.
It's better. It's the acoustics in the Eastern are unbeatable. Best new venue in Atlanta, hands down.
Extra electric.
That's a hard question, man. Electric, but because of I would say electric just because of the depth of the sounds that they can make within.
That is STS9. I agree with you.
Right. So yeah.
Breathe In or Baraka?
Baraka. I mean,
both. Quick answer.
Yeah, Baraka. Baraka is such a meaningful song to me, man. Like, it's a song that I play when I'm like in a funky mood or like and it just uplifts my spirits so much. And so does Breathe In, but Breathe In's got that dark, that dark intro vibe.
Sure.
Sick
the middle
too,
section.
And and it goes from like dark into super pretty at the end. But Baraka is just when you're. It's just an all around just super pretty, energetic song too.
Okay.
It's just amazing. Yeah.
Ramon or Be Nice?
Ramon, baby.
Okay.
Ramon for sure.
I thought that was a better question. I thought that was a better question. Maybe it wasn't. Balcony or pit?
That's hard to say. That depends on the venue, but balcony. Yeah, I like the balcony.
Cool. I've agreed with every single one of these. DNB or funk?
Once again, a very very hard question, but DNB for sure. That's what did it for me in my roots, and I play a lot of DNB in my sets, and I take a lot of inspiration from their DNB tracks. Squares and cubes all day, baby. So yeah.
Okay.
Love that.
Cool.
All right, so we're gonna talk about STS9 Christmas songs a little bit here. We just
Ooh,
had the
okay.
holiday here. It's been a hot topic of conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
So say that you're just finishing up Christmas dinner with the family and you're on aux, right? Big responsibility. My family would never put me on aux. They know better. But say you've got to keep those Christmas dinner vibes kind of flowing. What STS9 track are you going with? Scotty, let's have you go first on this one.
There's one answer here, guys. It's a little brain. The beginning is they sound like jingle bells. If you close your eyes, the beginning part of that sounds like Santa slowly in the distance coming to your house. I don't know. The title doesn't scream Christmas, but to me it's one of their more Christmassy songs. I'll admit I make a habit of picking my answer on these pretty quickly and then sticking to it. After we opened it up to the lounge, there's some really good answers here. But my answer is definitely "Oh Little Brain." What
Yeah,
about
Oh,
you,
Little
Nate?
Brain's a great answer.
I've driven through a snowstorm where you have like snow like lightly falling through streetlights while like
Yes.
listening to Peace Blaster on CD and like Oh Little Brain comes on and me and Gina are like, this is perfect right now. So
Studio "Oh Little Brain." Thank you for saying
yes.
that. Live "Oh Little Brains" are great, but the studio one specifically is very great. It's got a choir on it. Like,
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
are we at church? Is this Christmas Eve? Like, this is yeah, that's the one for me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Oh man, I that what a great answer. Absolutely. Uh,
Love that.
yeah.
Mine is a little bit more, I would say maybe an easy answer. I got to go with 986, right? I think
Not,
about a
Okay.
yeah.
986 foot tall Christmas tree, but just
Not
the jazzy vibes behind it kind of feels like a windy, winter night. So, 986 for me, I think that was a pretty popular answer in the lounge. So,
Mhm.
definitely gonna pop that on
yeah.
at some point here for sure.
So yeah. That damn good answers, go.
How about
What do you
you?
think?
Yeah. So I say okay. So someone said this in the lounge, and I is interestingly enough, Vapors has that like jingly sound, right? So I feel like that's a interesting one you could put for kind of a little more of a get down for like a
Yeah.
for so but if for a more chillery Christmassy vibe, I would say Bible, like the ooh, like the
Yeah,
like
Another choir.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So the choiry kind of, so that Bible is a good one, I would say, for Christmas vibes for sure.
A- Absolutely. I think Bible's a great answer. Going to some of the community answers, we had a lot of people say Jabez,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
may,
yeah, good
which
one. Yeah.
might be my if I were to concede maybe a better one than Oh Little Brain. Jabez is close. Jamie Pearl made me laugh. She said 118 is a Jewish celebration song. Uh
Dude, I could do the horror to 118 for sure.
she said, "Can you say horror?" That's what she said. And she said, "And 18 represents good luck in Judaism." Let's see. Luke Hayes said Baraka. We gotta shout out Star's pick because she's such a huge supporter of this podcast. Thank you, Star.
Hell yeah.
Between sixth and seventh, I think that's a great
Oh,
answer.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
I almost went with the between sixth and seventh with Dom from your first show for your clip.
Oh yeah. What a
It
great
was a
song, man.
little bit more down tempo than I was looking for. So I ended up going with the Be Nice, but that's a really good version of that song if you guys haven't heard it.
Dude, right.
Got a couple firewalls on here. And
Oh
then
yes.
Earl Whitney also said Summit and in Summer Angels, which I think are both
Yeah.
pretty solid answers as well.
Hard agree for sure.
I could definitely see hearing and Summer Angels at midnight mass on New Year's Eve for sure. That'd be
Oh,
fire.
how sick would that be, man?
I'd be
I mean,
like, one more set, let's go. Like,
right. One more set. There's one show in New Orleans where uh dude, yeah, I mean talk it was on the topic of New Orleans. I saw them in 2011, and you can this show is on Bandcamp, but at the very end, the whole crowd was chanting one more song, and then Murph comes up on stage, like kind of sounding a little tipsy or whatever, or just really like energized, but like it's like why don't y'all say 2 more songs, and then it starts like getting the crowd to chant 2 more songs, but they couldn't get it right, and they were saying like 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7 more songs, and I don't know. So that's fucking hilarious. Back topic of Christmas songs, and Glenn Tells Kango's also another one.
Oh,
yeah,
Gina would approve for sure.
That's a very
Absolutely.
good answer.
yeah. What a great song.
All right. So we've got. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull our agenda back up. So we've got a given hot take session this week. Who's doing it? Is it Nate or is it Rohan?
I can start.
You
So
want to
and
start?
we'll see if
Okay.
Rohan's got anything. So I'll kind of
Yeah,
get the
sure.
gist of it. But we're gonna share what could be controversial takes about the band, and I've got one today. And I think it's in the topic of shelving songs. I think it's time to shelve Circus.
You know,
Fuck you.
fuck you.
It doesn't mean I don't like Circus. I love Circus.
It's not
It
around enough to justify just shelving.
well, okay, maybe not recently, but like, dude, between I think 2013 they really started picking it up again, and then through a lot of the early years with Alana and everything like that, it just became a little bit overplayed. That the only one I really go back to is like the Circus Purple Rain Circus from Minneapolis. That one, if you haven't heard that, Minneapolis 2015
It's a
fall
great
tour
version. Great
opener
version.
for sure.
You don't
It's
listen to
just
Circus on My Mind. You don't from Georgia. You don't listen to the Modular Circus from 2018.
okay.
Cave of
If they
Crystals.
do
Hot take,
things,
Nate.
yeah,
Hot take.
Well,
that's
that's
the
the
point.
point of this. Is
That's
to
the point.
fucking piss the other person off.
If they do things like that to it, like the Wave Spell Circus from Wave Spell Live, right? But like
Yeah.
I think like all of a sudden you're getting like mid first set circuses, and I want it to be special again, and I want it to be that song that you get at an encore, and it's like the talk of the tour where it's like, oh, did you catch that circus? At this point, it's not. That's where I want to get it back to.
So
So
something a la like the Riv last year, 2023. Kind of, you're not looking for a circus, no one sees it coming, and then bang, that's what they close the whole
and
run with.
don't get me wrong, they start it, and sure, at this point, sometimes there might be some groans. It was like, oh, okay, but then by the end, I'm like weeping and everything like that. So
And if you groan at a circus in my presence, I'm gonna smack you in the back of the head, Nathan.
Shit.
wouldn't be the
Oh,
first
man.
time.
Be
But
better.
yeah,
That takes
I rest my
sucks.
case. I it's
That take
hot.
sucks.
It's a hot take.
I truly hate that take. Do not shelf
Oh, man.
circus.
I have no words at the moment. I love circus, but you have a good point, Nate. I will give you that. It is a little overplayed. So, to a certain extent, but don't you dare shelf circus.
I'm just talking for a little bit, Like I want a 1.5 to 2 year bust out circus, something like that.
I would love to see some numbers on how often circus gets played, because I feel like every time it gets played, it's like, oh, nice, there it is. Like it feels like it already is that.
Yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
I'm wrong. Maybe I just really like seeing it. Circus was like, if you had asked me in 2013 what my favorite Soundtribe song was, it was Circus.
Oh, absolutely.
When I was a very new
That's soft. That's a soft take right there.
Soft.
Fuck you.
All right, let's move on. Rohan, you have anything on your end?
I want to hear Scotty's take.
I actually didn't come with one. So normally we go back and forth week to week.
Yeah.
No pressure on you to have one.
I got a couple ideas. Yeah.
It was Nate's turn, so I'm not coming with one this week. But you're welcome to contribute if you want.
Okay. So hot takes, controversial. Let's see. I think, man, I don't know. Right now, currently, it's hard. It's hard to say because I fucking love the band so much, and I love mostly what they're playing right now. But there are a lot of really repetitive songs. Like I feel like Never Never is getting a little overplayed. Although I really do like it, I feel like it can, chill for a second. I feel like I don't know. I might be wrong, but I feel like I've kind of heard it at most shows.
I don't think you're the only one that has that opinion. It's amongst the
great
newer
song, though.
it's a good song, but amongst the newer songs, especially in light of Chromolite coming out in the last year, and
Yeah.
there being other songs like Shaky Ground that are not part of Chromolite but are also newer songs. It's wild. We're talking about Never Never like it's new. It's 6 years old almost at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
because of that break in 2020, it does still feel pretty new. And
Well,
I'm not. Go ahead.
I think it seems new because we're like experiencing the growth of the song
Sure,
firsthand.
sure.
And
And
maybe it pops
I'm
up in a set list and you're like, oh, okay. But then like by the end, you're like, God damn, that one's got a new layer every time I hear it.
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely. I'm not mad at it though because of all the new songs, I would if I made a list of their new songs, I don't think it would crack my top five of kind of the newer stuff that I'm looking for at a show. I'm looking for the Feel It's. I'm looking for the Shaky Grounds. I'm
Feel
looking for
yeah.
the Hazes.
Glass.
Glass.
Glass
Yes.
baby. Hell
Um, HB slaps your mom respectfully. Like those are
yeah.
my jams, So I'm not mad at that. Shelve Never Never for a little bit and bring it back when it's special.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, moving on to like shelving. God, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I from coming from a band's perspective, it's hard to tell like a band what to shelve. Or I know we're just kind
Sure.
of talking to the
Yeah.
general
This
public,
it doesn't matter what
so
we
it
say at
doesn't,
all. We're just
yeah.
talking out of
Right.
our asses.
Yeah,
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 We
yeah.
we were talking about
We're
stage layout
yeah.
last night. Like they gave a fuck what we think about their stage layout. We understand that this is self-indulgent talk, but it's kind of fun to do at the end of the
It's
episode.
fun. It's fun, and I think it's a cool. It's I mean it's cool for fans to be able to do this, and I know the band is probably going to kick out of this probably if they watch it, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if they made it this deep into the episode. We know that
no,
we do have some listeners between the band and some of the band's family members, but yes, I
right.
agree. I think if they do make it this far, I'm sure they're cracking up like we are, and they know that there's no ill intent in anything that we're saying.
No doubt, man. And to go back to Nate's point, man, if there's any songs that need shelving, maybe it's a hot take. I don't know. I'd say World Go Round. I've heard it probably so many damn times.
yeah. I
And
mean that like.
It's like it's the come why of 2.0. I would guess it. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I would guess it's the most played song since Alana got there.
yeah, for
Well,
sure.
like here's the thing: having the ability to shelve a song is something that is just like such big dick energy. It's insane.
Right?
Like
Absolutely.
when they played Demby at Red Rocks, I was with Kevin from Sun Squabby. He was like,
Yeah.
they haven't played that song in 13 years, and he's like, I've been in a band for 11 years.
I was standing there when he said that too. That was so
He was
crazy.
like, if I ever get to a point where I can do something like that, like that's a huge milestone. So
It
to even have this
yes.
conversation just like speaks to the depth of their art and their catalog and
Absolutely.
everything.
It really does, man. And that Demby was such a beautiful, special moment, dude. I almost didn't even recognize the track at first, and I was like, it just hit me in the middle. I was like, holy fuck, this is Demby. Like, and then my good homie Daniel McNatt is chasing that song for so
DJ
long.
McNice.
Yes, McNice. But and I was with him during that, and I just remember him freaking out. So that was super special. And
Rohan, this was special, man. This was super special.
hell yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much for doing this with us. Thank you for chopping it up with us. If you have gotten to this point in the podcast, thank you so much. Please go see Rohan throw down late night at Santos on the 30th, correct? Doors at 11:30.
Yes, sir. So Santos and we are going late, late. So I believe I'll be hitting the stage roughly around 1:30, so well after
Sure.
Sector 9 finishes. So I encourage all the fam to come out, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a good ass time. Tickets should be cheap, like 10 or 15 bucks, something like that. Maybe like 20 at the door. But yeah, man. And once again, dude, thank y'all for having me. This has been super special. Like I said, no, I love you both of y'all very much, and I can't wait till we rage again. Y'all are both going to be in New Orleans, or
I will
I'll be
not be.
there. I'll be there,
You will
and
miss.
I'll see you there,
you,
Nate.
you know I'll be on the rail for your after show, but I can't wait.
Hell yeah,
So
hell yeah, man, hell yeah. Much love, my man. And Scotty, I'm sure I'll rage it with you again soon, man.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, it's okay. I'm not. I'll be holding down set list on the lounge. I'll be streaming. And I'll be with my kids. So I'm not missing out on anything. I'm just doing something else.
You're doing the Lord's work, man.
Yes,
Big
sir.
ups.
Well, thank you, Rohan. We really appreciate this, man. And best of luck with your late night.
Hey, thanks all. Much love.
Yes, sir.
Y'all take care now.
Peace.
Peace.